I don't know what time it is or what time it is. 10:33. What time do you guys do? All right. Any questions?
15. No, 12.
0. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. Yeah, when did they came? Like, when did they help aid?
It took about 3 weeks to get to us. Some parts of the country got it sooner. The airport was out of commission, and also the main port was out. So no boats could come in and no planes. And the way people came to help us was by flying into the Dominican. And then you had to drive about 6 hours to the border and come across into Haiti. So it was very hard even to get help in the beginning. And some of the military started coming in. It took the U.S. Marines actually came to our town 3 weeks after the earthquake. That was part of why I was on the news, because I was on there. I talked for, I don't know, they asked me a bunch of stuff. I talked for probably 5 or 10 minutes. They took about 5 seconds of it, which I knew they would. But at any rate, basically, my little moment of fame was saying that you got 1,000 soldiers in Port-au-Prince, just send 3 or 10 or whatever it was, or you got 3,000 in Port-au-Prince, just send 100 here. It was very frustrating because there was no news. We kept seeing helicopters flying over us and nobody was helping. We were running out of water. Our town had no police. They're shooting at night. People were getting shot, breaking in. There were mobs going around starting to break into buildings or anywhere where there was food. They were breaking in, taking the food out. So we had no police, no phone service, no water, no gas, and the roads blocked off. And we felt like, does anybody know that we're here? Because we got hit hard by the earthquake, and all the attention is going to Port-au-Prince. And then we get helicopters flying over, but they never would stop. The people were actually on the ground yelling up at the helicopters, and they never would stop. There was no information. I would fault them, actually, in that respect. I know they can't get everywhere all at once, but at least send us, now I feel like I'm reliving my moment on the news. Send us some news. Just tell us we're on the way. Tell us you know we're here. I had friends here that were contacting senators and congressmen. Matter of fact, when the Army finally did show up and I went down there, when I walked in, I started introducing myself. Hi, I'm Ed. They said, Ed Lockett. I said, yeah, we got your name on a list here. So apparently I had a lot of people here that were contacting people because I was like the only gringo in Pettiglow. And finally, it took them 3 weeks to get there, and there was no information. until finally one day the helicopters came, and instead of just flying on past, they started hovering, and then they started coming down. Then we had the Marines there, and things started kind of changing for the better. And everybody was like, the Haitians were all like, take our country, here, it's yours, And the participator.
What was your first thought when that happened?
When the earthquake happened, I thought it was probably all close to an hour before I knew that it was an earthquake. I just thought our house was caving in.
What did you do?
Ran out. Tried. Fell down a few times. Everybody was falling everywhere. We have a bunch of kids that live at our house. We always have a bunch of extra people visiting. We have families there. I think at that time there were maybe 15 of us that were actually in the house. And everything just started rumbling and shaking and things were sliding. And it was funny because, I mean, still to this day, the kids, we were just talking. It was 4:30 in the afternoon, beautiful day. Kids were out of school for the day. We're just having an average afternoon. And it's funny, it all seemed to happen so fast. And some of it I remember clear as a bell. Some of it I don't remember. So we talk about it. We'll rehash how it all happened. Where were you? What were you doing? I know one girl had just taken a bath, and she was dressed, but she wasn't in the room with us talking. She was getting ready to come when everything started shaking, and we were trying to get out. And this girl kept following. She just gave up. She wrapped her arms around my legs. I was like, no, my leg. It means we must go. We must go. And so I pulled her up and kind of drug her along with me. Well, everybody, and they were all just, Jesus. Everybody thought it was the end of the world. Everybody everywhere really thought it was. For some people, it was the end of their world. But everybody. everybody was just, it was a nightmare, and everybody was out in the streets all waving their arms and freaking out and flipping out everywhere, and I didn't know what was going on. We got outside, and you had to kind of hold your hands on the walls to make your way out the door. We got outside, and then I saw that 2 houses up from us had totally collapsed and caved in. I thought, well, that's what happened. Something happened at that house, and when it fell, it rumbled everything because didn't make a whole lot of sense, but that's all I could think of. I mean, it's not raining, there's no lightning or tornadoes or anything going on. And a lot of Haitians, especially in our town, actually thought it was electricity, because we had a while back that some guys were playing basketball on the street, and they had a basketball goal on a telephone pole or a power line pole, and the power line dropped and electrocuted like 17 of them right there on the spot, and it made like a buzz and rumble sound. And we have wires fall from time to time in our town like that. So a lot of people thought it was electricity. A lot of people, unfortunately, ran into their houses. People that were outside thought it was electricity, and they ran into their houses for safety, and then the house caved in on them. We were in our house already and felt like the house was coming down, so we ran out instead of in. But our house didn't end up caving in anyway. We got some cracks, but it didn't cave in. But 2 houses up totally caved in. Once we